Are you ready to make more sales? Today I'm going to share 3 keys to making all the sales that you want. So how do you make all the sales you want without being sleazy, scammy, or salesy? That's what I'm going to share in today's video. Also, if you'd like to learn more about branding and marketing yourself so you can earn more income and create your very own version of a lavish life, definitely hit that subscribe button and stick around because you're going to love the upcoming videos. I've got more videos coming on sales, branding, as well as marketing your business and manifesting your very own version of a lavish life. Today, we're talking more about sales. And sales happens to be one of those things that a lot of people get tripped up on. They find themselves feeling really frustrated because they know they have what their ideal client needs. Like when you know that you've got something to bring to your ideal client, you know you can help them. It's a little bit frustrating when you can't quite make that connection to where they say yes, they sign up, and you guys get started on whatever program it is that you have. So if you need help with sales, I'm gonna give you the 3 keys that you need to making all the sales that you want. The very first key and the very first step you need in order to make the sales that you want is confidence. So that means you've got to be 100% clear on the outcome that you're providing for your client, and you have to be clear and know how to communicate that to your ideal client. So let's break this one down just a little bit. Knowing what your outcome is or how you're going to change your ideal client's life is very important, because if you're not clear on that, then they're not going to be clear on that. And a confused mind always says no. So if your ideal client is confused and they're not clear on how you can help them or why they should work with you over, the next person, then they're likely going to say no. And if you're not clear on the outcome and how you can help them, you're not going to be able to communicate that. And that means that you won't have a clear marketing message, which is the second piece of this confidence part. And that's being very clear and having one clear marketing message. So how do you get clear and confident on the outcome that you provide, as well as getting clear on your marketing message? Well, the first thing that you've got to do is first determine what outcome you want your ideal clients to have. So when they come through your program, what should they have achieved as a result of working with you? This is one of the very first things that we work on inside of Create and Fill Your Coaching program, where I take you through the process of actually creating your coaching program so you can be ready to fill it with clients. And part of creating a solid coaching program is knowing how you're going to help your ideal client and the outcome that you expect them to achieve. So you can do this and really get clear on this in a couple of different ways. First is just asking yourself, what do I want them to achieve? And write down exactly what they should expect as a result of working with you. So let's take an example. If you are a wellness coach, for example, and you want to help your ideal client to have a better relationship with food, be able to move more, and just be more relaxed about not worrying about the scale and inches and pounds and all of that, then one of your outcomes for your coaching program might be this client is no longer stressed at looking at the scale. So that's like a single outcome. You should be able to write several of them, and that should sum up into one single outcome. So if your several outcomes for you as a wellness coach are, for example, not being stressed about looking at the scale, no longer binge eating, or, choosing foods that they love. My ideal client now chooses foods that they love, and they now don't have to worry about looking at the scale and this side or the other. You should be able to take all of those and summarize it and sum it up into one good solid statement. So you can say, by the end of working with me, you will blah, 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 whatever, right? You will be confident about your body, you'll be confident in your mind, you'll be confident in your spirit, whatever it is. So whatever your tagline is, you should be able to sum up your outcomes in one single sentence. Then the other piece of this is obviously getting clear on that ideal client and knowing how to communicate this clear marketing message to them. Your ideal client is going to speak about their problem, and they might speak about it a little bit differently than how you would speak about it. So for example, if you might say something like, have a better relationship with food, but your ideal client might say something like, I just want to be able to enjoy food without stressing. So those two statements likely mean the same thing, like they're very similar, but if you don't know how your ideal client speaks about your topic and about that outcome, you're going to be saying one thing and your client is going to be hearing another thing, and the marketing message is not going to be clear and direct towards them. So if you want the marketing message to be very clear, you want it to be very direct towards them, then you want to make sure that you're using their words. This is also what we do inside of Create and Fill Your coaching program. And we also do this to an extent inside of You've Got Clients, simply because You've Got Clients is more about marketing your program versus creating it. And so I want to make sure that everyone who goes through that program is very clear on how do I market my coaching program. And so pulling out and drawing out the words that your ideal client says and the things that they speak about and how they speak about their problem is going to be really huge for you to be able to have that confidence. Step 2 to making all the sales that you want is creativity. And that means creating an offer that actually speaks to your ideal client. And it's something that's exciting. It's something that your ideal client wants to jump into, that they hear it and they think, wow, that's for me. That's exactly what I need. And where do I sign up? And basically, they're to the point where they're practically throwing their credit card at you. They're practically like wanting to sign up right away. And the way that we do this, so how do we build creativity into our offers, is first understanding what an offer is. So let me make sure that we clarify this, because I see a lot of coaches fall into this trap of saying that I'm offering coaching sessions, or you can sign up with me and we'll get on the phone. Like, that's not an offer. You've got to be really clear on how to create an offer. And the easiest example that I can give you, the difference in an offer and just selling something, is if you think of what McDonald's offers in the sense of a Happy Meal, right? So a Happy Meal is not just the burger and fries and the toy, it's also the sense of you're going to be happy once you complete it, right? It's a happy meal. They're not just selling the burger, the fries, the drink, and the toy. They're selling happiness. That is an offer. If I were to go to McDonald's and just order the burger and the fries, that would be similar to what I see a lot of coaches doing when they're saying, hey, I'm offering mini sessions, or sign up with me so that, you can, have a better relationship with food. Let's hop on the phone. But that's not what your ideal client wants to buy. They want to buy the Happy Meal. They want the creative part of it. And so if you're having a hard time pulling together the creative part of your offer, or actually figuring out like, how do I make my offer creative? It goes back to your research, like figuring out who your ideal client is, what they're excited to purchase from you, and how they speak about their problem. If you don't have details on that and you don't know how your ideal client speaks about their problem, you're going to have a hard time creating an offer that gets them salivating, running to you to work with you with credit card in hand. And the final piece that you need in order to make all the sales that you want, the final key to making all the sales that you want, is closing skills. So you've got to be able to close. You have to be able to close that sale. And closing is one of those things that a lot of people get tripped up on simply because they feel the pressure of, I've got to make this work. I've got to, make sure this client says yes, and I have to convince them. But really what closing is a long process that actually happens over a number of steps. And when your marketing is really good, your marketing will be closing that ideal client every step of the way. The idea behind closing and actually making a sale is that every yes that you can accumulate into your yes bank makes that final yes that much easier. And this is based on a concept taught in the book Persuasion by Robert Cialdini, where he talks about how people are driven to be persistent in all areas of their life. Meaning, if you say yes one time to one person and they ask you something again, it's likely that you're going to say yes again. I'll give you a perfect example. So I was in the process of renewing my OMCP certification. I am an online marketing certified professional, and every year the certification has to be renewed. So you can either renew it with doing professional development units, or you can retest. So I decided to do some professional development units. I took a couple of classes and I submitted my passing scores for those classes so they could update my certification. So I got an email a couple of days into where I was about to run in up to my date, my renewal date, and I got an email that said, "Hey, LaTisha, your certification is about to expire. You gotta, work on something so that you can renew it." And so I emailed back and I said, "Hey, I'm pretty sure that I've already, done my renewal credits. I did them back in January. Could you just double check?" And so she did. She double checked. She was like, "Oh yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely fine. I went ahead and renewed it. You're good for another year." So I was like, "Okay, great." And then she made a small ask in that email, which was, "Hey, do you mind sharing?" I forget exactly what it was, but it was like, "Do you mind sharing your thoughts on the process of renewal?" So I said yes. I was like, "Oh yeah, that's small. Of course, why not?" So I replied back and I shared what I thought about it. And then there was another ask and she said, "I really appreciate you sharing this with us. Would you mind if we shared it to our community?" And so that was a small ask. So I said, "Yes, sure." And she asked for my website. So I gave her the website, you'vegotclients.com. And then after that, I suddenly got an email from the president and he said, "Hey, I love your response. My team has been speaking with you. We've got this quote. We were wondering if you wouldn't mind doing a short video." So imagine by this time I had already said yes, 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 yes. So this final yes was really, it was so much easier. It was, if I had gotten that request, the very first piece, I probably, I likely would have just let the email sit there in my inbox until I finally made it back around to saying yes, because I probably would have done it, but it wouldn't have been as effective as what actually happened, which was I said yes to a tiny small thing, and then I said yes to another thing. And it was like, because I had already said yes, it seemed weird for me. Like it literally felt weird for me to say no at the next request. And then I ended up doing a full video for them, which is featured on their website. I'll show you guys right now. And they're going to be using it to encourage other OMCP candidates to continue their process. So I thought that was a really cool example, especially coming from a certification board that offers a digital marketing certification. I thought it was really cool to see that process in action where people tend to be consistent. So that brings us back around to closing skills. Your closing skills and your marketing, when your marketing is really good, your marketing is closing your ideal clients every step of the way. This is exactly what happens with the You've Got Clients process. So if you're not familiar with You've Got Clients, I know I mentioned it a couple times, but it's my signature group coaching program where I help you create a consistent system to help you bring in a consistent revenue into your coaching business. So the first part of that is, getting that ideal client to say, "Yes, I'm interested in learning from you." And you give them that piece of learning content, and then they say, "Yes, I'm interested in speaking to you." And then you invite them to a phone call, and then, "Yes, I'm interested in working with you." And then they sign up to work with you. Now, there are a few additional steps along the way, and there's an entire process. So if you'd like to learn more about the You've Got Clients system, you can just go to you'vegotclients.com and just click the button to get the free training, and you'll be able to watch it right away. What questions do you have on making sales? Is sales difficult? Is it hard? Was there anything that I missed? What are some of the ways that you've determined to make sales? Now, I do have a video coming up on my specific sales strategy. Like if you'd like to know more about the discovery call and all of that, that is coming up. So make sure you click subscribe and hit that notification bell so you won't miss another video. I also have a playlist on making it rain if you need more help with sales. So in the meantime, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Okay, bye.